to break into the scene, so they do it super cheap. And now it's like we can have a little bit more compassion, like Konflikt is saying, for the reasons why be taking less money and try not to judge them for it. Because at this point, I think most of all the egos I used to see have been dropped down. I mean, when this whole thing hit, I saw VIP hosts that were the man at the door that were posting if anybody needs, handiwork at their house, or I just got a job here, like taking, and I appreciate that so much, because at the same time I saw people not live streaming and asking for donations, because at least you're doing something, but just straight up asking for donations. Like, here's my Venmo. I'm out of work. I have nothing against the live stream asking for money, but do something. All of us are fully able-bodied, capable, talented,
legitimate online panhandling.
DJing is something that takes a lot of skill. So I hate to think that people are just sitting around thinking that that's the only thing they're capable of doing, because all of us
starting OnlyFans.
He's providing content.
Already got one, bro.
Oh.
Already got one.
And Konflikt, those are great points and a good other side of that perspective, and I think maybe finding a balance between doing everything with a understanding of not allowing yourself to be taken advantage of, because it's a flip side of that, and also at the same time, I got 2 kids, I got a wife, I totally understand feeding a family and what comes into that, and we all have to look at ourselves and know that we're trying to do the best we can, but at the same time, it's like if you're getting cut so bad that when you look at your hourly rate, you could, what are you risking at that point? Like if it goes worse, and like you went out of the house for $150 and then you get sick, you're going to be out a lot more than that and some, and to me it's like there's got to be a balance of making sure that the people that are doing this job are not getting maybe more money, but we all know DJs in general, even like local DJs in big cities get taken advantage of. They get run through an area where people say like, oh, I can get 10 guys to come in cheaper than that, and they use that against us. So I'm worried that they'll use it further against us, and it's about finding that balance, I guess.
I think this is something I spoke to DJ Kova and DJ Audio One about on their show about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, and what I think I'm going to tell everyone in the audience here what I said on that one. That's something that we should all help spread. I don't think that there's a problem right now accepting a diminished rate. There are some guys that are like, no way, we're worth what we're worth. It doesn't matter. Well, here's the thing. If a club's open at 25% or 50% capacity, you can't expect to get paid the same. I don't think so. And my clubs might wait until there's 100% capacity allowance to reopen. But we don't know that yet. So what I think is now is the time to regroup and actually implement contracts. And so when they come to you and they say, hey, I want you guys to come in at a quarter of what you used to get paid. You say, you know what? I need the money, but let's put a contract in place that in 6 months, it'll go back to normal rate. Let's put a contract in place that in 3 months, we're going to analyze and I'll get a 25% raise. There's something in place to basically leave that door open legally, so you can come back to the table with negotiating power for the future. Now, if we all start doing that, if we're all, we do our due diligence in advance, and when guys that own clubs come to us and say, hey man, I can't pay you the same, it's like, okay, I understand because you're diminished, but I'm providing you the same work that I was giving you before this all happened. So in 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, your choice, let's reassess and get me back to the right rate, which is what I should be paid for the work I'm doing.
That's a great point, and something hopefully we could see implemented across the board. I think DJs in general have always been very business savvy guys, girls. Like Tina, like you're saying, it's like most people find their way into DJing. It's the skill and the art is something, but you also have to have a bit of an entrepreneurial spirit to be a DJ. And Impulse, you were even before this. You started to kick off a newer kind of version of your life doing photography and this newfound love that you have for that. How have you been able to take being like a pretty heavy travel DJ and start to translate into a new profession for you?
I started with the photography and video stuff just as kind of like a passion, because I think as a lot of DJs, especially DJs that travel, or just DJs that gig a lot, you know, you get that DJ burnout, and it really affects you mentally, physically, all of the above. And I just needed to step away for a minute and just kind of find something else that I could, you know, get that was artistic. And that's when I started picking up cameras and really diving into that. And you know, as time went on, you know, I started connecting with business owners and things like that and helping them with their social media, which kind of pivoted me to doing something else. And what was funny is me doing that would allow me to pick and choose when I wanted to DJ, instead of having to get on a plane and go do something, or just play music that I just did not want to hear anymore. And that was, yeah. And then that's pretty much how it flipped. And it really helped me find my love for DJing again, which was very helpful. And so now, you know, I do both. I'm very choosy with what I, you know, where I DJ and what I'm doing, and just not like, you know, just not whoring myself out anymore.
Sure. Well, we're glad that you're happy with your DJing abilities. Again,
yes.
Pocket master right here, bro. You guys.
I want to ask a question, because we were talking about rates to everybody in here. Is anybody still owed? Like, are there receivables? Like, I have one large amount that I'm still owed that, like, I'm gonna wait like maybe 2 more weeks, and then I'm gonna go off on Twitter. It's like, you know, a corporate company, but are people, you guys have any receivables?
I got my last one a month ago, but I waited a little over a month for it. Yeah.
Luckily
I did until about 2 weeks back.
Well, I've been able to collect.
Zoe, what city are you in?
What's that?
Where do you live?
I live in Los Angeles.
Where was the gig?
It was at the I don't know if I want to say, but it's a Marriott.
Do it. Say it.
Marriott, I'm coming for you. You
say it with your chest.
Money.
What city is the gig in?
What city? West Hollywood.
Oh, okay.
You know that hotel.
So yeah, I'm owed some money too, but I haven't reached out.
Yeah, I'm owed some money too, but there were people that I have long-term relationship with, and I feel like, you know, they're gonna do right. It's kind of what you were saying, Conflict, and you know, we really have to, you know, I think a lot of us are gonna fall back into places and clients that we have really good relationships with, and work together where you have that communication to be able to, and maybe a little bit of the latitude to have something that's in place where you're working together to get you back to whole again. But yeah, the places that owe me money are places that I have done business with for over a decade, and I wouldn't even think. I know they're going through hard times, and I know that also they're gonna do their best to get me right when they can. But yeah, if it was a corporate like what you're saying, Zoe, it's like, yo, you've got to be your own advocate, because they're gonna push you down.
Edition hotels, what the fuck?
There it is.
Especially if they're grabbing money from the PPP, man.
You know, speaking of the locals and traveling DJs, I think that actually local DJs are gonna probably come back and take over far before, you know, clubs aren't gonna be booking headliners or flying people in. They're gonna be focusing on their locals. So, and local DJs, and hopefully the people that have good relationships, people will look at it like support small business. A DJ is a small business, and your local DJ, hopefully they'll support them. And then us traveling DJs will be the last, you know, when budgets come back way later. But I think, you know, I forget who said it, but I want to go back to doing some more local dive bar, play whatever you want gigs that are more fun anyway. So
I was just gonna ask Conflict if that's what is that what your plan is? Like down in Miami, not traveling anymore, getting back into the scene?
100%. I'm going to invest my time and energy into the local scene, but it all is contingent upon how the pieces fall. At this point, we don't know exactly what's going to happen. I look at Houston, I look at Tampa, and I see these pseudo nightclubs opening up, and they're kind of like, let's see what happens. Because if it goes good, if it goes well, great. Then we're going to have some more open up, and things will slowly ease back into a new sense of a normal. But if it doesn't go well, and if we go the South Korea route or we go the Hong Kong route, then holy fuck, like we have to pivot. We're all not going to make money off clubs. What are we doing? So my energy right now is kind of, it's fluid. It's like, if the opportunity arises locally, 100% attacking it. And if it doesn't arise, I am still making contingent plans in my brain as to other things that I might want to do.
That's what's up.
That's what's up. Let's just hold that thought. Let's take a break. It's 10 o'clock right now. We were having trouble, technical difficulties on the stream, on the Facebook, but it's back up right now. So once again, everybody on the stream, if you're enjoying what you're seeing tonight, just click that like button, basically share the stream onto your feed. Tell your friend. And if you want to join the Zoom chat, we got some people in here right now. Big shout out to Flo. Where is he? Big shout out to
Bobby. What's up, brother?
Yeah, shout
Noob
out to the chat.
Cybot. What's up?
Friends of mine that are not DJs. I think my sister's
What's up,
in
Bounce?
here somewhere.
But yeah, if you want to join the Zoom chat, basically just hit up that link on the screen on the stream right now, bit.ly/the9@9 and 10 o'clock. It's that time. We usually do a weekly segment, since with Sean J. Since everybody's live streaming nowadays, we are gonna do the tech tip of the week. So, Sean J., take it away. Yeah, if you wanna join the
Oh yeah. All right, so I got requested by somebody, one of my homies in the chat, to do something with the 808/505. It's a 505, so I'm gonna do this in the background. All right, guys. Tech tip for the week. I have been camouflaging what's actually happening in my house. Anybody on IG who's checked my stories kind of knows what's going on here, but I'm going to take the filter off so everybody can see real fast the big reveal. So I'm going to clear out this virtual background, and let's talk about this thing. Green screens. Boom. Magic.
No filter.
So we had a conversation amongst ourselves with the host, Geometrix Stylus Chris, as one of myself on Monday, and Stylus Chris said, hey, those party stores? They have those tablecloths that everybody hates that are plastic, and they cost like $1 a piece. So I had the idea, you know what? Let's do something with that and create a green screen. And what I'm going to do now is show you how I put this together, and the reasoning behind this is actually inspired by KONFLIKT. So let's jump into the box. I'm going to pull up my OBS setup so everybody can see what the aftermath looks like. So can everybody see that on the screen?
Yeah. Yes, we can.
There we go. All right. So this is the after, and here is, if we start eliminating some of these layers, here is the before. We're going to talk about two different things. Alpha channel, which is that layer right there. And then, of course, chroma key, which is the actual green screen. I've got OBS window with these three scenes. So the alpha channel is just an image. I made this image traced off of the background that I had on Zoom. It's literally, I went in on my webcam that I've been using for live streams in front of me. It's a wide angle, so I took a screenshot of that output. I traced over the edges that I wanted to mask off, and that's the purpose of an alpha channel. You can write something, draw something, save what you want in an image, and if you save it as a PNG, the transparent background then becomes the part that becomes visible, and the green stuff you see is the stuff that I actually drew on there. So I'm going to open up the filter so you can see there's no filters, no effects. I just took the selector tool, outlined what I needed, and colored it green. Now, this next layer down is calling that alpha channel scene. So you see it right there on top. Display it again. But this time it's green. Why is it green? This time we are using the image mask. What an image mask for the alpha channel actually enables is the transparency to come through. Otherwise, it would just be black like it was before. And then we added in the chroma key. The chroma key is added to the webcam itself. That's a filter that makes the green background disappear and become transparent. So you combine the alpha channel from that green overlay and the chroma key, and you get all black behind me. Then when you put this all together, this scene right here is calling on the previous scene. So the source material in here is coming from that. It's the two put together. And then we add in a background video. Cool, now I got something that I can live stream. This took me like 16 hours to put together, but now this is what my live stream looks like. Here's why this was all inspired. So shout once again to our guest KONFLIKT.
You are the man, Sean.
Hey man, I'm just a guy doing some stuff. I'm trying to be like you when I grow up. Here's the idea. As places open up, as the venues, the clubs, the bars, what have you open up, it's going to likely be graduated just like we've spoken about here. And I actually kind of want to pose this as a question as well. My thought was I am more able to take gigs. I am more able to present myself as somebody who's ready for work and is bringing something special to the table by being able to change my background and make it feel like an event, not just my bedroom like it is with the green screen filter off. So thought therein, we talked about the graduated rate increases or putting that on paper. I want to emphasize and underscore that. DJs, do not be afraid to negotiate. Please, for the love of God, we've been fighting this fight for so long. Does anybody feel like this is going to be the new normal or part of the new normal, having to present yourself as a live streaming DJ to the nightclubs, either as we're ramping our way back up to things opening, or is this going to be just a thing that only exists on the internet? That's my thought therein. So if anybody wants to take that, feel free.
I'll take it. I have a lot of thoughts about that one.
Do it.
Yeah. So the first is, I was actually asking myself this question as before I was getting ready to hop on the live stream, is or in the Zoom call, I mean, rather, to use a better term, if live streaming is the future of DJing, I have to ask myself if I want to be a part of the future of DJing. Because I don't necessarily like live streaming. There's a certain high that you get from working with a live crowd that I do not get live streaming. And even though I can be just as artistic, there isn't as much pressure on me that I put on myself when I'm in my living room as when I am in front of a bunch of people and I have to perform. There's something else. So that's the first piece. The second piece is, right now, we're kind of in a no man's land in regards to live streaming. Where do we do it? Instagram on us. We get copyright strikes. Twitch, it's kind of like a gray area, but there's not a green light. Let's monetize it. You can get tips, but that's like kind of using the back end of the system. There's really, Mixcloud is trying out live streaming, and that's really the only place that's DJ friendly. Other than that, you do have YouTube, but again, who wants to put their account up for the chopping block if you get too many copyright strikes? So there's no medium right now that is DJ friendly enough for us where we can monetize that makes sense for me. And I'm not going to push I'm not going to push a company that doesn't want me. If you're not going to support me, then fuck you. I'm not going to do live streams on your shit and get fans and do something cool for your platform. If I'm doing it under the radar, like, why bother?
I'm hoping that Mixcloud really runs with it, though, because I know they're in the beta testing, but just in terms of like them being able to host mixtapes and not pull them down, I'm hoping that somehow translates into their version of the live stream,
Yeah, and we actually got a really good question on the chat here from Phenomenal, or maybe it's Phenomenal. So I apologize if I'm reading that wrong, but they were asking, are any of you guys getting any virtual live stream gigs? Like, are you actually getting paid to live stream any of you?
I did one today, yeah, and one tomorrow too.
Dope.
Done a bunch actually.
Dope, though.
What have you been doing, Zoe?
Are these like private Zoom parties, or are they strictly on the brand's Facebook page?
On Instagram Live for MGM Casino, which is where I DJ in Vegas. So we went on their account, and I did Jack Daniels last week, which they allowed me to go live on my own account. But for some reason, they got angry at me because I was taking shots. And I was upset about that. I'm like, yo, it's Jack Daniels.
Wait, Jack Daniels got angry?
Yeah, they were like,
for you taking shots?
No shots.
Wait, what kind of shots though?
It was Tennessee Honey. It was pretty good. Have you tried that one?
That is really good.
Yeah,
tasty on ice.
That is odd.
And I didn't really fully read the contract, and it was saying like, don't promote excessive drinking, and then they're texting me from the same phone in which I'm live streaming from.
Right.
So I'm just ignoring all the text messages, and then all of a sudden I see like 20 comments in the chat, like no more shots, no more shots, no more shots.
No.
I was like, all right, I guess no more shots.
You thought you were being a brand ambassador.
Yeah.
Well-
But what's the call? I would say that Twitch is the superior platform. Shout out to Sean J. You showed us how to do all that. I have no idea how to do that. That's why my boy Tony right there, he does everything when we go on Twitch.
Did Tony pick
Good
any
night.
of that?
Shouts to Tony.
Question.
Yeah, but
Shouts to Tony.
I did like a bunch on Instagram Live, and I would say Twitch is probably the superior platform. It's a bit difficult to navigate. I'm not understanding it. I'm still learning. But will it become the new norm? I mean, I really don't know. I don't know. I'm kind of view with conflict here. I'm not too sure. It's just something that I'm doing to pass time. And in the meantime, I've gotten a couple of cool gigs. I got the MGM one, Jack Daniels. I had something on Amazon Music on May 30th. So there's some cool opportunities like here and there. But Twitch is pretty fun, except for the other day, yesterday, or maybe 2 days ago when I was streaming. Just for some reason, we could not figure out what the fuck was going on, and the sound kept on like cutting in and out, and it was like horrible. For the first 30 minutes, it's really bad. So that was a pain in the ass to deal with. But then, Twitch, you can kind of fuck around versus IG Live, because I was still just talking shit on the microphone, whatever, engaging with the chat. And then when we fixed it, I was like, psych. That was a segment we like to call the troubleshoot, where we fucking sound check for 30 minutes. Gotcha, guys. It was a prank. They thought it was all funny.
That's how you know you're a professional. Bam.
And Zoe, I think I saw you. You weren't just on the music performing arts category. I saw you on a just chatting section. I don't know whose stream it was, but you were DJing for I don't know, maybe like for a pod.
Dumbfounded, yeah. So we
Dumbfounded,
do a show
okay,
every
yeah.
Friday at 5 p.m. Yeah.
I mean,
And
that's what's great
Twitch is
about
supportive.
Twitch. It's like it has more of a broad audience, I noticed, than Mixcloud. I think that's what's going to be the biggest con for Mixcloud is like, how could you get the normal person to go to Mixcloud? At least some of them are already going to Twitch because of the gamers and even some of the podcasts.
I clearly haven't spent enough time on Twitch, even though I have an account. But like the idea is like, when you go to a site and they use all this stuff based on your previous searches and the stuff you're searching. When I go to the front page, I see nothing but video game shit.
Oh yeah, I mean that's
Yeah,
Like,
it's all
what
gaming.
the fuck is going on? Like I want music stuff,
I mean, to be honest, I feel like Twitch is just like any other site where I feel, at least myself, the Twitch is mostly gamers. It's always been a gaming thing.
Yeah, that's clear.
You're still dragging, like your question earlier was, how are we going to get people to go to Mixcloud? I don't really see a difference than Twitch, because your average person isn't on Twitch regularly if they're not a gamer. Like this DJ shit on Twitch is like a brand new thing.
But you have the
good
possibility
everyone.
of like having gamers go to your channel. You have possibility of like podcast people going to your channel. That's what's I found that what's good about like Twitch is like it has a way bigger audience than Mixcloud.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong here. I feel like I've heard stories now of people getting flagged on Twitch for copyright now too.
yes.
Yeah.
On the replay, if they have, so after you're done streaming, it saves the replay.
Right.
So you can choose to either share that with your audience or keep it private or delete it. And yeah, they can get flagged on the replay. So you
So
can
they
just
just
delete
won't
it.
post your replay.
Well,
Yes,
and
exactly.
Here's what it does. So on Twitch, if you're doing a live broadcast, instead of taking it down like Instagram and Facebook will, they only mute the replay for the copywritten part. And YouTube does the same thing, but the way Twitch does it, they don't interrupt the broadcast. So this conversation has been going on for weeks now. What, 9 weeks? What is time anyway? But like the whole idea is that they're not going to take you down, which is kind of like the important factor. You're trying to interact with the people in the chat room. Twitch's entire business model is based around getting people to interact with you while you're live streaming. But on the other hand, the analogy to all of the different platforms at hand, Twitch and Mixcloud, you can kind of compare to a boutique store where if you're in the mall and you're shopping for something, you're going specifically for the thing that they specialize in. where Twitch is definitely focused on video gamers and they've got all the infrastructure and they got a payment system and all that stuff built in. Mixcloud, it's specifically for DJs, but who's the audience? Just DJs. Instagram to me feels like if you're walking in the mall, in the hallway of the mall, back when outside was open, Instagram is those little kiosks that try to sell you hand lotion and everything, and they try to grab you and put it all over your hands. You don't care. You're just trying to get to. I'm trying to go to Nordstrom or whatever. Yeah. And then Facebook is like going to somebody's house or someone's like locally owned shop where you're like, oh, I feel comfortable in here, but they have rules, and I'm kind of pushing the rules on what's allowed. So they're still going to pull you down if you're breaking the terms and conditions that you agree to.
That's the cops coming to the house party.
Yeah, that's the cops raiding the house party. So like you kind of just got to pick your poison. And I specifically have been stepping away from Instagram just because.
Yeah, Instagram is creepy. It feels weird. It actually feels
weird. And then I'm like, yo, there's like 3 people paying attention. Maybe it's because I'm too small, or maybe it's just they shut me down at 25 minutes every single time. But it just feels.
You're a poet, bro. That analogy was crazy.
That was a great analogy.
Yeah, that's gonna be a replay clip.
Well, here's the thing.
Adrian's got
Adrian, grab this clip.
To what Koo was saying a minute ago, on their contract, they say you're not allowed to play music on Twitch. That you're not allowed to play other people's music. So to me, it's only a matter of time before they start having the same issues that Facebook and Instagram are coming upon. They're just if you're able to just say, hey, I have a Twitch page and get a whole bunch of followers, then and it doesn't really, if you're at that level, then it's great. But if you're a younger DJ or somebody that's on more of a local side or not as well known, and you're trying to build a new following on Twitch, it's a lot to invest in something that in 4 months from now might be like completely canceled. And if you're gonna start from zero, you might as well start on Mixcloud at a place where they're at least allowing you to do it, and you know that you're gonna have people that are truly looking for the music aficionados, and it's not the same way. 80% of the people looking for music right now didn't know about Twitch 6 weeks ago. So there's no reason why those same 80% of people can't learn about Mixcloud just in the same in a place where DJs are safe to do it. But
I think I've seen so many people now on. I think a Headliner or Five they did an interview with Twitch maybe 2 weeks ago or something, and since then. We've been streaming on Twitch maybe for 8 weeks now. I've seen like a surge of all the homies in there, like Five, Franzen, Miles Medina, Jay Espinosa.
Like,
crushing it. Mad DJs.
Twitch is the new hangout spot.
There's a lot of good DJs in there.
And they're like talking shit. And what's cool about Twitch is like you can subscribe to a channel to show your support, and then what that does is it unlocks emojis. So you can have an emoji of your face, or Miles Medina's face, or Four Color Zach's like clomp thing, So that it's a cool way to engage your audience. But I do see what you're touching on, that gray area of the copyright, and it is kind of interesting.
So let me ask you this: like, have you incorporated any of the tricks that gamers are using? Like, you mentioned like with the emojis. I know you can rehost, certain streams on there and bring people from one, stream to the next.
Yeah, we've done all that, and then even I'm just approaching DJing differently. Whereas like when I DJ, a club or live for people. In real life, like I just always try to be so precise, so clean. I want it to come in correct, like make sure the scratches are on point. With Twitch, like I'm like Trump did his like speech about the ultraviolet light, like injecting bleach and shit. And I was like, yeah, let me scratch that this week, and I kept on scratching tremendous. And, people love that. So taking the meme culture into DJing, and I've seen like people really enjoy that.
People love that stuff though.
That's dope. Yeah, and that's definitely the point. Is like I think for guys that have the ability to just to tell their social media, hey, I'm on Twitch now, and then instantly pop an audience, and then use some of those things. It's really great, and there is a lot of. I mean, you said Rich Medina's stream. I mean, that's one of the most incredible live streams I've seen of any DJ this whole on any platform. I mean, from the music selections to the quality of the stream to the interaction that's on there. Like it's really dope what he's doing. If you guys haven't seen Rich Medina's, everybody watching out there, check out Rich Medina's stream. But like, for somebody that's kind of coming up, it's a little bit probably intimidating to try to jump in that pool.
So I have a question for people that are live streaming. What's the end game, or what's the payoff, or what's the rationale for live streaming? So I've kind of like maybe there's another option that I haven't thought of, but the first thing that I've thought of is you're live streaming because you want to have fun. So you want to present the art form of DJing, and you're enjoying yourself. In which case, the amount of people that watch you shouldn't be important because you're doing it for whoever's there. And then on the other hand, you have live streaming to keep your name current, potentially gain new fans, and then translate that into future income or future gigs. But both of those options to me seem like they might not be entirely worth the effort, because I can DJ by myself and have a good time here in my household and express myself artistically. But for example, I can be a painter in my house and not necessarily have an art exhibit, right? And I can paint as many frames as I want and keep them here and, have a good time. And, oh, this is a new stroke. I haven't figured this out. Oh, here's a new landscape I haven't done before, things like that. So I'm having a tough time understanding, like, when somebody goes all out for a live stream, or when you really present a show, like what's the rationale behind it? Like, maybe we all have different ones.
The first one that pops into my mind is the feed mouths. Not me personally, but if some people got to feed some mouths, maybe that's one way in the interim to do it. But yeah.
But can the revenue be high enough to do that? I mean, how much money can people actually make off a stream?
You could make a lot if you have a lot of viewers, but
yeah.
I think
what's a lot. What's a lot?
Well,
probably like 25,000.
Wow.
Okay. On what platform and how many viewers?
How many viewers would you need to get paid a lot? He's the Twitch expert. Tony, hey, what's up?
Hey,
what's up?
So, what
was the question?
How much to get paid a lot?
How can I monetize Twitch?
On Twitch, so the way Twitch works is you get money from subscribers, and basically people will pay $5. There's 3 tiers on Twitch, but let's just say tier 1.
So they have a subscription model. They have Twitch has a subscription model.
$5 a month for you to support the streamer that you like, and half of that goes to the content creator and half of that goes to Twitch. And then you keep amassing those subs, and you also get donation tips, and then eventually you can get sponsorships, deals, and that all adds up. And I know a few streamers that make 5 figures a month just from doing that.
But they play video games.
Yeah, they play games, but I, with all this going on, I'm seeing a lot more DJs, and there's this. I'm sure you guys know Kenny Beats. He has he has thousands of viewers. I already and I'm seeing he's already getting thousands of subs, and that's racks.
50 racks a month.
Racks. Yeah, racks a month, so just sitting in the
people to try to push it for it to happen. That's one other thing too, if no one's doing it, then it's not going to go anywhere.
I have maybe a bit of a problem with the subscription model, specifically because we're using music that we don't own. So I think it might be a matter of time before Twitch either does something for us where they go, hey, we're going to pay you a little less. Maybe instead of getting half the subscriptions, you get a third, but we're also going to take care of the ASCAP and the label fees and all that shit on the back end. So you're free to do it. Or they're going to say, hey, all you assholes that are using copyright stuff constantly, you can't do it anymore, or we're going to remove your right to have a subscription base because you're using copyright material.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think it's a gray area right now.
Right.
So,
Well, and that's where Mixcloud.
it's something to do,
I like the
Going
Mixcloud point that Conflict was making before, and it really is very valid right now. Anybody who's advocating for us as DJs, I think, is really who we really have to strongly consider the best option, because they've taken care of the ASCAP BMI stuff already, and otherwise we're navigating this gray area that we're all talking about right now. And actually, to answer your question, Conflict, my end game for streaming is kind of what Impulse was talking about, and yourself as well. That like there's a point where getting burnt out with DJing, just very, very regularly. I do a lot of mobile events, and for the most part, for the last like 5-6 years, I've been backing away from the clubs and only being very selective about the ones I say yes to, because I know that my bills get paid from the mobile events I do. But I can do less mobile events and slowly become less visible in the DJ space as long as I have something to fill that space. For me, the end game is I've been focusing on production for the last few years, and now I'm trying to put that as the forefront thing, because that can exist on Twitch because it's ultimately stuff that you don't have to worry about copyright clearances with. But it's a long play, and just like Zoe, your boy, was saying, it really does come down to a lot more of the multi streams of income with partnerships and brand deals is really how you make a living out of that. I don't know if that's my dream, but if that's what it takes for me to not break my body carrying speakers and hiring roadies, that kind of sounds like a win.
Yeah, I'm not anticipating that like my life would be a streamer. When I changed my bio to say I used to be this, that, and this, now I'm a Twitch DJ, it's kind of a joke, but we were,
It's
my
the
boy
now.
Dumbfounded started his Twitch early, like March something, and I was doing it on his every week for like 6 weeks, and I was like, oh, this is kind of fun. Why don't I just start my own? So that's kind of why I started my own.
Well, going back to what you were saying, conflict. What's the motivation? I mean, from my on my end, like I'm a retired club DJ, so I don't have to worry about that life. But I do, most of my revenue comes from like private events, the corporate events, the weddings, mobile gigs, that sort of thing. But like I think it's totally different from everybody. Like I didn't want to go out there and stream like every day, every week, just for the hell of it. Like my motivation was like for the only public stream that I ever did, I used it as a platform to raise funds for an organization that I truly believe in, like in the local area. I mean, we ended up like we did it for my birthday last month, and we raised up like $2,100 for families, for the pandemic that's like just having a hard time with. Oh, we lost Tina.
Oh.
But other than that, like all I've been doing is just private streams, like on Zoom and private parties, really. But I mean, it's really different. Motivation is different on everybody. It really depends on what your like.
Skills have sharpened?
Say it again.
Would you say your skills have sharpened? I think this quarantine has like.
I wish it has, man. Like I mean, if I stream like more often, I probably would get my mojo back, man.
I would say that's what streaming has done for me. It's made me fall in love with scratching again, which is, was my first love, before DJing.
Sure.
So I'm definitely scratching like more again, which is cool.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, you are.
God damn
that's
you.
one of the pluses, I guess, to being on that end of this whole thing. There's no one to tell you not to.
Yeah.
Sort of, So you're like, in your mind, you're like, fuck it, I'm just gonna cut more. Usually you could go all out like that at the club, but then there's gonna be someone who's like, yo, move on.
Right.
I will say on a positive end though that I've seen like people's levels of creativity just kind of go through the roof with the streaming stuff. Like just in terms of what people are playing and what they're selecting. Like I know for myself, every time I've streamed, because the only things that I've streamed on has been Instagram. But trying to curate playlists that aren't going to get flagged and touching those remixes that we never get to touch in a regular club atmosphere, like I've had a lot of fun like curating these playlists that I know just aren't going to get flagged because you're not going to recognize this shit, like
Chris does a great job with that as well. Like I love listening to Chris play because he weaves in and out of something that you might recognize, but then he'll go left a little bit, and it it helps with the Facebook police and all of that. But
I've just enjoyed watching.
It's very well curated.
I've just enjoyed watching like DJs play what they want to play, just on an artistic standpoint.
Yeah.
And just getting to kind of like know my friends better. Like, oh, this is the shit that you fuck with, like, because you're in the crowd right now, and I like to see the shit that you want to play. Like that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Impulse, the interesting thing is I don't plan anything. I'm playing out of, I'm lucky enough to play at venues where they actually want me to play my weird shit or the stuff that I care about. And the owner of the club, 18th Street Lounge, is an actual DJ himself, and he came
Right.
on acid jazz and deep house, and he's a guy that like appreciates. When we first started DJing at 18th Street Lounge, they would be like, if anybody comes up and asks you for pop music, get the security and have them kicked out if you want. You know? I mean, like straight up to where the owner's like, I don't want to hear that stuff in the place that I pay the rent on. And this is a venue that's been around for 25 plus
years.
Owned by the Thievery Corporation, started the whole ESL, that whole movement. And so these guys are like purveyors of the underground sound. And even as time has changed and what we consider pop music, they're still always under the radar of where things are. And so
Right.
for me, DJing on my, back to kind of what you were saying, Conflict, for me, my live stream is more about oxygen for myself. And how I've been a DJ for so long and not DJing has put my life into a really weird funk of not doing what I do so much. And the reason that I DJ and love it is because I love music in general. And when we teach young kids or 20 somethings or 30 somethings that come into the school and want to learn how to DJ, Gio and I always kind of had this mantra of, if you don't like really, really love, I'm not talking like, oh, I love music. I mean like love music to the point where you don't feel normal without music. I don't know how successful of a DJ you're going to be, because you have to truly love a passion for it. And so for me, playing that music that I love also connects me to people that are messaging me and saying like, you don't understand how dark my life has been, and not hearing music and going out. I feel that there's a lot of people that also are really loving hearing the music because they have anxieties or they have uncertainties, and a lot of these people don't even, the people that we're connecting with on our live streams don't go to clubs anymore. They're not like out on a regular basis. They're people that you've known 20 years ago, or they're people that you used to see in the club, and then they just fell off, and then they're like, oh, I got married and had a
Kids and
club.
that.
And they're getting that feeling back, and you combine that with that sense of not having a connection to human beings in general, and their connection to music, and we're finding this really unique space of being able to really explore music in a new way. Or even if it's cutting, like cutting to me is like it's jazz, and when you see guys that really know how to cut, it's like seeing Charlie Parker or Miles Davis or any great jazz musician do, like play to their craft. And I think it's great that we're able to see that. Now, whether it lasts longer than this, it's hard to tell. We really don't have the data on where. But I think that there's always going to be an audience that is going to enjoy it one way or another.
Definitely. Big shout out to the jazz players. Especially DJ As One is one of them. Right now, we're going to hold that thought again. We're going to take a little station break. It's 10:30. It's time for As One's tip of the week. Real quick, guys. I apologize one more time for having technical difficulties with the live stream on Facebook, but it's now up. So hopefully, I see some people on there. Now, make sure to like and share the stream if you're digging what you're seeing tonight. But right now, let's go ahead with As One with his tip of the DJ tip of the week.
All right. What's up, guys? I'm not gonna try to take up too much of your time this week. I guess my quick tip, DJ tip this week, is about going wireless with wires. What does that mean? Okay, so tetherball is a game where the thing is tethered to the line is tethered to the ball. The string is tethered to the line, right? So that's typically what is happening when we're DJing. We are tethered to the mixer with our headphones. I think for me, I came up just like everybody else, headphones, but they always break a lot of times. And I was always just looking for something else. And I simply came across the simple idea of trying to figure out how to go wireless while at the club in terms of being able to, turn around. I could basically walk to the bathroom and still hear my cue. How do we do that? So you can use this with anything that sends audio through a receiver and a transmitter. However, you're going to want to look for something. Generally, wireless microphone kits do this. I'm going to show you something that is specific to something I found on Amazon actually for $100 at the time. This is the first version. I believe they came out with another version, but this is the Anleon S2T transmitter. So this bad boy right here is literally a transmitter, right? And what happens is when I go to plug up in the booth, I basically take up one extra power cable and I plug this into the back. We turn this bad boy on, and then we have a cable. Oh, yep, there you go. Sean knows what I'm talking about. Put Sean on the other a while back. You basically have this 1/4-inch cable that comes out, and I put this in the 1/8-inch input of my S9 or any other mixer. So basically, I'm running the headphone out of the mixer into this bad boy, turn it on, throw it into the corner behind the turntable, and forget about it. And this bad boy right here is just a wireless body pack transmitter. And I bought a, what do we call a angled. I bought an angled 1/8-inch adapter. So basically, this goes in the back of my pants. Wireless headphones. I also got these on Amazon. These are the Tin Audio. I forget the name, but these are literally $50-$60 for some of the most amazing in-ears that I spent for under $100. Even though I came from the world of having like custom in-ears, I had ultimate ear in-ears. It cost me like $800, and then I dropped them one day and they shattered. So yeah, put that down there. Boom, kind of rock with one ear, and then next thing you know, you're DJing and you can do backflips, and that's my tech tip of the day.
All right, thanks,
Aswan,
for that. There's still a wire that goes from his ears to the pack.
Wire, so it basically just goes to here, and then everything is just kind of hanging out behind.
But at least he can walk away from the setup without like getting that. Getting
you go to the bathroom.
your headphones like yanking you.
Listen to his bathroom break mix.
Well, I can hear what's going on.
But yeah, big shout out to for that tip. We do have students watching the stream. Once again, if you want to learn how to mix, scratch, and make music, visit beatrefinery.com. Locations nationwide. So let's talk about DJ education. Tina T, you do have the, the camp. What
Camp spinoff.
Camp spinoff. My bad. Camp spinoff. For the past 11 years now, what are your plans for this year?
Well, this year, unfortunately, we had to cancel. It was supposed to happen June 18th. It's a week-long overnight sleepaway camp, which basically goes against every single social distancing rule that we're learning, unfortunately. I mean, we sleep 10 people to a cabin. We eat our meals buffet style. We're hiking, we're swimming, we're holding hands, running, playing, and just getting dirty in the woods. And there's nothing about that would be okay right now. And as far as the future, I'm not really sure. The vaccination, we do have kids that have proof of vaccinations to come to a summer camp. I don't know when this vaccination will come out, if that'll be required. But then another thing I thought about is, well, if we require it, does that mean I have to get it and I have to require all my staff to get it? Because I know a ton of people who are not planning to get this vaccination, including myself. So, I'm still kind of figuring
you do bring in like guest DJs to teach and speak on, on the art.
Sorry, what was that?
And you do have like guest DJs that come in and fly in to, basically like
help
teach
sorry,
you guys.
I just let me backtrack a little because I just assumed everyone knew. But yeah, Camp Spinoff is a DJ camp where
tell the viewers that don't know what Camp Spinoff is.
They learn. I'm a little rusty on my interviewing.
On your pitch.
My kids learn. They learn how to DJ. They learn how to produce music. We do a cabin challenge where they work as a cabin to create a track together, and they go around camp and they record original sounds and use those sounds to make an original track. So maybe it's frogs croaking or crickets or a basketball on the court will be their they use all that and compile it together in Ableton. They also were sponsored by Pioneer, so they learn how to put together mixes with colors. And they also learn on vinyl how to scratch and how to learn to find the one and drop on the one and all the basic 101 elements of DJing.
Wow. So you can get the full, like you get, from what I'm hearing, you can get a camp experience, but yet based around the idea of learning how to DJ and make music.
Yes. So that was the initial concept, is really taking that traditional summer camp experience of making s'mores and doing, you know, cheesy games, going hiking, and being in the woods.
Man,
and then
that's
combining that with all the technology,
all
which
American
is like
right there, yeah.
two totally opposite concepts, and putting it together. And we've had a ton of support from the DJ community, from different sponsors, and from guests. We've had Lil Jon and Mixmaster Mike, and Z-Trip has actually taught one of the classes at camp. And yeah, so it was a super bummer to have to cancel it. I did it pretty early on, you know, in March, because I just couldn't see us taking the risk, even though it wasn't until June. And I had parents kind of calling me out as being an alarmist, or, you know, when the weather warms up, it's all going to go away, and this and that. And I just had to really trust my instinct and say, you know what, we're a nonprofit, we're volunteer run, we have no one we have to prove profits to. There's no reason why we should take any risks at all. And just make the call to cancel it.
Real.
So I don't know what next year's going to look like. And unfortunately, you know, as much as I'm sad about canceling my camp, I'm thinking about, we rent summer camps. So those camps are having, I mean, how do those summer camps who make all of their money from, you know, they make their money from summer. So with everything being canceled, literally the venue we were using,
Wow.
said
Yeah.
they're not going to be
No
there next
business on
year.
them,
So I
yeah.
have to find a new location. And a lot of these camps, summer camps in New York, they're there for 3 months. They can't open. You know, there's all of their insurance policies specifically have a thing that says viral pandemic, like not included, not covered. So none of their insurance is kicking in. It's much, I'm feeling much more for them than I am, you know. We can take a year off and we can come back, but a lot of these summer camps, I don't know what the future is for them, for the actual facilities, you know.
What was the earliest? I mean, when was the earliest like registration for your camp for this year?
We start registration in Thanksgiving. Right after Thanksgiving. So it's this whole like half-year process of, it takes us pretty much a full year to plan, between getting sponsors and locking in all the details and registration. And, you know, I just wouldn't want to keep doing all that and then have to cancel last minute. So yeah, it'll be interesting. I honestly feel like people are going to be pretty traumatized from this whole thing. Now they're starting to see some studies in kids that are very scary from COVID-19. And the more that they go in that direction, the worse it will get for summer camps, you know. But I think schools will be the same. Like, what are schools going to do? Are they going to require this vaccination? Like, we just have to wait and see, you know.
I know with our school, I mean, we're right now like, you know, like pretty much most of our locations are closed. We're doing a lot of virtual DJ lessons, you know, on Zoom. Some places are reopening, and it's not a, you know, Chris, it's like we're probably just gonna not even like have like our group classrooms, you know, existing anymore. And like we're just gonna basically do straight up one-on-one classes and social distance on those lessons. But even that, it's like we have to have like half capacity on the locations.
Yeah, I mean, for camp, like we definitely can't social distance, and so it just makes it hard. But people have suggested to me, like, can you try and do an online class, an online school, something like that? Sorry.
Oscar.
And I just don't ever see Camp Spinoff being an online thing, because it's not the vision. It's not what it is. Summer camp is about bringing people together.
Yeah.
And if it's not going to be that experience, then it's.
You don't want it.
I don't want to be an online school or anything like that. It's a very
Lust doesn't
specific
feel like
experience
90s
that
R&B.
I want kids to have. So
Well, as a dad, I will say the places that I've seen offering virtual camp, I'm like, sign my kid up, because I've been homeschool dad for the last 3 months, and it is brutal. I mean,
I'm over it.
like, I thought DJs were underpaid till I tried to be a teacher, and then you realize that, you know, teachers are just amazing human beings for the amount of patience that they have.
The greatest babysitters.
and the ability to, you know, especially, you know, I've got a 6-year-old who is just like, this is the greatest day of my life. My dad is home every day, and all he wants to do is like play Nintendo Switch and Wii and go out and play baseball and play one-on-one basketball and play hide and seek. And you're like, no, we got to do this work. Your teachers want, and he's like, no. And, you know, if I can get, even if there's no summer camp, but the places that I trust were offering virtual camp, I'd be like, okay, anything to get my kids somewhat stimulated. And it's actually, and I know it's too late for you probably this year, but it's like, I really hope that somehow you can keep that camp going, because I've definitely, you know, known about it for a few years from when I first started seeing about it, and sending my kids to camp, how special camp is. And when you're combining camp with something that we love too, it's a really great thing that you do, and we hope that you're able to find your way back to doing it. And we're happy to support too, whatever we want to do to help you.
When you're back up and running, I want in. I want to volunteer.
Yeah.
awesome. Thanks, guys. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, I think the adults, I originally started because it's something I enjoy doing. I enjoy being at camp, you know, and all of our staff, I think, have just as much fun as the kids. So yeah, I have little moments where I get like triggered. Like if I'm going through the yard at night with a flashlight, I have like a moment where I get sad about camp. But it'll come back. I mean, honestly, I think all of this, it's just a matter of time. Luckily, we're all at an age where we have time. And so if we can be patient, we'll see all of our favorite things that we enjoy come back, you know?
Exactly.
Now, Koo, you said that Tampa is already like kind of popping off. Where do you feel your threshold is of like jumping back into regular gig life is?
I'm not even gonna even attempt to think about that until we get to phase 2. Phase 2 is for bars and nightclubs, and we're not there yet. So I already told a lot of the owners and promoters and people that I work with up here or down here that I'm not doing it, man. I'm not doing it till phase 2. I don't want to risk it. It's not for me.
Phase 2 for bars, is it going to be like it? Because right now phase 1, I know some places they're doing outdoor. You know, they're doing the hack where they can do outdoor, 50% capacity and having like, I know some DJs are doing gigs outdoors like right now during phase 1, but phase 2 is inside 50% capacity, or
it's going to be a limited capacity, just like the restaurants were. And I will say this, I feel like this is like hella pessimistic, but even with restaurants like opening at 25-50%, from what I've seen at least, nobody's following that. It's just like once you give people a little bit, they take the whole thing. Like it's so hard to actually sit there and regulate every single business that's open. Like, oh, you're not at 50%. Oh, you're not at 25%. And everyone is, like I said, Florida's going to Florida, is fully taking advantage of that. Like there's really no difference the way that people are conducting business right now than phase 2, at least here in Tampa. It's just, I don't know.
Oh, and I think every state has a different version of what phase 1 and phase 2 is. Because I think at least in the DC, Virginia, Maryland, phase 3 is where nightclubs could open, or even phase 4. But
I want to say California, and you can correct me, Zoe, if I'm wrong, but it's like phase 4 or 5.
4, yeah.
Yeah,
California,
it's way back there.
Yeah.
Impulse if Vegas is calling you, are you going?
Mm-mm.
No.
No.
What about you?
Yo, the last time I saw Zoe was in Vegas. I think he was at I think you were playing it best friend maybe, and I was playing it on the record.
Shout out Eddie Mack one time.
Yeah.
At Mac Agency. Yeah.
And Tina, you were talking about how, you know, I think Vegas is one of those places where either so many amazing DJs have been born and bred there, or they move there and kind of call that their home. And do you see yourself kind of getting active if they start calling you and want you to play around town, or?
I would like to do stuff off the strip just to kind of start, and then it just depends when. I have to see the timeline, but I'm also going to watch other cities and wait a few weeks and see where the numbers are and kind of go from there. I'm honestly not super concerned about my like dying from this. You know what I mean? If I was living with my parents in Seattle, it'd be different. I'd worry about exposing them, but Oscar's immune to it. You know, that's not the fear. I think it's just, what is that experience gonna be like? So I think I want to just dig into the local community more. Maybe even, I don't know, start a night with a friend where we can just go have fun at a dive bar kind of thing before trying to do any of these massive strip things.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Have you heard much about like Vegas? Like I've heard some of the big casinos are like 2021, 2022 that they're looking at.
I don't know if it'll really be that long. I think I just can't really, there's so much money wrapped up that when they do get the green light, I think that they're gonna go run with it. And I think that there will be a lot of young people coming over from California, like flooding over from California when they get their green light, that'll support it. So yeah, I don't know. What do you think, Zoe? I met you at, when we first met, you were playing.
Right?
You said you talked to Eddie today. Do they have any date in mind?
Yeah, so Eddie was saying that June, like early June, the casinos will open, and I said, well, what does that look like? What, clubs are going to open? He's like, that's very low on the list. He said slot machines, some table games. He said poker is out, but he talked to some people at MGM, and I don't know. Eddie's a very hopeful guy, so he said hopefully this year. But then I talked to Crooked. It's kind of a negative guy. Shout out to Crooked, my boy. And he's like, it's done. It's a wrap. Not until 2021. So I think there's a lot of speculation, and people don't really know. I don't know. I don't have any.
I don't think anyone knows, to be honest with you.
That's
the
exactly
pools,
right.
Yeah.
I've heard that the pools are definitely out for the summer. We won't be seeing that. In my mind, I would think. I think it's safe to say I probably won't be doing anything for the rest of the year as far as like nightclubs go. That's not going to include small restaurant, lounges, kind of off the strip, but and same with traveling gigs. I don't really see myself doing any traveling for the rest of the year. I do a ton of corporate events, and I just think they have way too much liability in having a huge conference, and that's, I'm sure all of you guys know too, we have all the production crews out there that are hurting just as bad as we are with all the events.
All the conferences have been closed until like at the end of the year. I know that for sure.
Yeah, I was looking for some chairs, some little metal chairs that I found on Facebook, and I went to go pick them up, and it was a huge warehouse of all audio, and I'm like, well, you guys must do events. And he's like, oh yeah, we did all the corporate events, this, that, and he's like, we're selling everything because we don't plan on doing anything for easily the rest of the year. So it doesn't make sense to just sit on all those, all that stuff for that long.
Inventory. Yeah,
they had a huge warehouse, and they were just getting rid of everything online. So the events industry is really, all of us. So yeah. But I think after 2021, it'll start to come back. I don't think it'll be till 2022. I think that's too much.
Well, let's hope. Pretty much 2 hours is almost up. Let's go ahead and get everybody's, just do a quick plug. Starting with you, Ku. What are you up to? And plug in whatever you want.
still active on my Mixcloud, uploading mixes all the time. I just did one for Pitbull Globalization, mixcloud.com/DJKoo.
Oh, got that.
Everything on Twitter
Chaos
and
in there?
Instagram at DJKU.
Dope. Conflict.
Hey, I was drawing my the Twitch thing. I want to send a designer so they do it for me. So I have a template.
Sick.
So I was just figuring that out. I'm looking at Twitch streams. My Twitch actually is the only medium where I don't have my favorite DJ. So on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook.com/my favorite DJ. Those are my social media handles. On Twitch, it's my favorite DJ Twitch. So you have to write out my favorite DJ and the word Twitch. And I haven't done anything on there yet, but I mean, I'm going to try it just because I feel like it's worth the effort. But if I'm going to do it, this is the problem. When I do something, I put so much effort and time into it, and I want it to be the best.
That
So
shows.
I don't want to get pulled for copyright bullshit. But anyway, I also have a podcast on Spotify and on the Apple Podcast app, which is My Favorite DJ as well. And it's DJ related topics and stuff about life that I sometimes start blathering about and can't stop. So if you guys like podcasts, when maybe you clean the house and you want to hear somebody talking in the background, that's the podcast for you.
There you go. So
yeah, I want to give a very special shout out to Geometrix, man, because he is the guy that got me started in DJ when I was a kid. And I would just practice in my room. I'm talking about 9th grade through 12th grade. I had like 3 friends. I would just practice scratching, right? But then I met Geo, this guy, and he was so nice. He taught me all these tricks. We linked up with Inferno and the whole crew. And these are, formative years of my life. I'm 16 years old, taking me to New York to go to the DMCs. I can't get in because I'm not old enough.
Yeah,
He brings me back a T-shirt. I still have that T-shirt. I still remember that, Gio. I was a kid, and you made a huge impression. And we didn't connect for a while, but then we recently reconnected. And I just want to give a shout out to you, bro, because you're the man. He had
big shout out, little bro.
And that wouldn't have happened.
Turntablenetwork.com. You remember your website, bro?
Hell yeah, man.
Yes.
Legend.
I keep getting reminded that whenever I go to NAMM.
Yeah, you're the man, bro. And for plugs, I just Zomano, Zomanno. That's my last name, Mono. And then if you like scratching, I started scratching again, so I put some clips on my Instagram. You can check it out.
I used to love those tractor videos, man. Used to cut on.
Oh yeah, man. I haven't used Tractor in a while, but Tractor was awesome too.
Yeah. Super
2
nice.
Z2s I'm trying to get rid of.
No. Tina, what do you got to plug?
Everything you can find me on. My handle is DJ Tina T. Camp Spinoff is the website's up. We've got tons of videos. If you want to check out videos and see what that experience looks like, it's campspinoff.com. And for me personally, right now, I'm just taking a break. I guess I'm focusing on my other streams of income. If you come to Vegas, I have a few Airbnbs. So I'm hoping that when people start coming here, they're going to see a private house is a much safer way.
Oh,
to
wow.
stay.
Okay.
Got the real
Literally
estate
gonna
game.
stay at your place.
You just told them
One of your places.
people.
I'm definitely learning a ton of home renovation. Anyone who follows my stories knows I'm constantly.
When are you going to start the HGTV show?
Yeah, maybe I'll start getting into that kind of thing, house flipping. I don't know. But right now it's definitely keeping my mind off of everything that's going on. And, sometimes I think the hustle of DJing is like hustle, crazy. And then right now I just want to, for the first time in a long time, take a break. So.
Cool.
HG Tina T.
All right, Impulse. When are you streaming next?
Tomorrow night, actually. I do most of my streams on Facebook. Everything across the board is DJ Impulse. Just streaming here and there, keeping my mind off of the dumpster fire that is life. And just trying to stay positive. And it's been a pleasure seeing all of your beautiful faces today. And love you guys.
Dope, man. Love you back. All right. That's a wrap for the 9 at 9. 6 episodes in the books. Next week's episode, we're going to talk a little sports with some NFL team DJs. So our guests for next week are 49ers DJ Adrian C. We have Pittsburgh Steelers DJ Digital Dave. Cowboys DJ EJ. Our very own Redskins DJ Premonition in the building. Go Skins. And also the Miami Dolphins DJ Ross B. So tune in for that one. Make sure to come back and see us live every Thursday night starting at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can watch the replay of this episode on Beat Refinery's Facebook or YouTube channels. New episodes are also uploaded every Monday to Apple Podcasts, Google, Spotify, Stitcher, wherever you consume and listen to all things podcasts. So be sure to subscribe and rate us on all those platforms. We really appreciate the support and love from y'all. Again, this show is presented to you by Beat Refinery DJ School at Bach to Rock. If you want to learn how to mix, scratch, and make music, visit beatrefinery.com with locations nationwide. We'll catch you all next week. Stay safe, stay healthy. Signing out, guys. Everybody say peace.
Peace. Thanks for having us, guys. Appreciate it.